Hey guys, Brian from MPWR Health and Fitness. We're going to have a chat about the fountain of youth. Okay, so with every passing decade, we lose muscle mass. This phenomenon accelerates the aging process and leaves us susceptible to a host of conditions. Okay, what has muscle loss got to do with aging? Well, for a start, the amount of muscle we possess sets or affects our metabolic rate, our resting metabolic rate. So how much energy we use at rest. And that's where we're metabolizing carbohydrates and fats. And this all happens in our muscles. So less of them, we're going to metabolize less carbohydrates and less fats. More of them, more metabolized. Okay, so that's one thing that's simple there. Okay, and I'll talk about how this also affects us a little bit more later. Now, this muscle is also where our amino acid is stored, in particular glutamine, which fuels our immune system. So, again, less muscle, less reservoir for that amino acid to be stored, so we have less of an ability to protect ourselves against disease. Alright, so there's another thing. Now, the other side of we have to look at is as we age. So as we age, we lose muscle and we gain fat. So we consider between the ages of 30 to 60, we're going to lose 7 kilo of muscle, we're going to put on 15 kilos of fat. Alright, again, oh well, so who cares? It's muscle and I'll get a bit fatter. I don't really care. Well, this decline in muscle reduces our ability to fight off disease, which we've spoken about. It also leads to a loss of function. So a loss of function means you don't quite have the balance you used to have. So this leads to less mobility. Less mobility means less activity. Less activity means you putting less weight into your bones. It means you end up with a decline not only in muscle mass, but then you're getting heavier. As you put on fat, you've lost muscle mass, your bone density is going to drop. Then this loss of function leads to more probability of falling, and that less bone density is more probability of injury due to that falling. So, and there's a host of other things that goes on as well, but that's just one thing, or just sort of one tract of it that happens. So as we lose that function, we reduce our mobility, we lose our mobility, we reduce our activity rate drops, then the need for our strength in our joints, strength in our bones and all that also declines, and so it's a big slide downhill. How can we stop this slide happening? Okay, this is where, well, let's just have another look. All those things, I'm just talking about the doom and gloom, but what about the fact of those activities that you slowly stopped doing you enjoyed? Whether it be netball or playing golf, whether it be walking a dog or whatever. These are things that have given you quality of life, and they slowly disappear due to this loss of function and this lack of mobility. How can we reverse this? Well, what we can do is we can look at structured, progressive resistance training. Or like a program that I work with, FIRE, which is Focused Intense Resistance Exercise. We're talking about weights, we're talking about bagging steel. Alright, now when we talk about this, we also talk about lifting heavy or lifting heavy weights. Now, we also got to talk about the fact that lifting heavy weights is relative to the person. Alright, what is heavy for me may be impossible for someone else. What I consider heavy may be light for somebody else. Okay, it is relative to yourself. So in saying that, so let's not be scared off by me saying lifting heavy weights, because lifting heavy weights is according to lifting heavy to you as in your ability. Okay, but what does this do for you? How does this reverse the process? Well, first up, it addresses the loss of muscle. we start building muscle or we start maintaining muscle. Depends where you are in the scheme of things. If you're 20 to 30, then we're looking at maintaining a muscle. You might want to build a bit of extra muscle, especially when you start stripping fat. You may want to build some muscle to then improve your body shape, because you'd be amazed how skinny you can look if you purely just strip away the fat. So to improve that body shape, we need to build some muscle, we lose the fat. Alright, but first of all, this resistance training, we're building muscle. So we're reversing that aging process. We're getting rid of that loss of muscle. So what does that do? We improve body shape, which we just spoke about. Alright, we increase the metabolism again. So we get those fats and those carbohydrates being metabolized within the muscle. We regain the function. So we work on exercises and so forth that work on the strengths you need to regain the function or to maintain the function that you want to have in your everyday life. We're improving our health, we're improving our immune function, and not to mention, which I haven't mentioned yet, is the hormone profile. The hormones produced, which also help right the way through keeping us young. So we're getting that growth hormone, we're getting testosterone, estrogen, all these things are getting fired up, and this is why resistance training is the fountain of youth. So hopefully you guys found this interesting. Now I've included a link to an article from Shah Salt, and also a 2-day-a-week program which you can utilize. So Shah Salt was a 2 times Miss Olympia. Now you might look at the picture of Shah Salt, and she looks amazing in that picture, and she still looks the same today at 46, I think she is. She still looks amazing today. You may not want the definition she has, and that all comes down to a huge amount of dedication. It's not something that accidentally happens because you started a resistance training program. Sure, your body shape would improve and all these great things are going to happen, but to get to the definition she has is another level of dedication. It's not going to happen by accident, so don't be scared away by that. Let's worry about the health benefits we can get and the everyday functionality we can gain back. Alright guys, this is Brian from MPWO Health and Fitness. Hope you found that interesting. Check that link, and she's got a great basic 2-day-a-week program you can follow. So if you're going to one of the 24-hour gyms or so forth, you can utilize those programs and get in there and use them. Alright guys, catch you later.